Hey guys, Lifesaver here with another video. This time I'm doing another guide on my Demonology Warlock. I'm going to make you a masterclass how to completely min-max the class. Earlier I made a guide about a month ago or so, explained some more of the basics. I realized when I showed you my opener, I explained it correctly, but I actually didn't show it correctly. So if you're following some of the videos and the keys I've been doing, I have been doing it correctly. But there's a lot more tips that I wanted to share with you guys, as well as the breakdown of stat priority, as well as specifically add-ons and weakauras that I'm running. I find a lot of people, a lot of beneficial ones, especially Mouseovers, like for demon bolt and stuff, that will really increase your damage output. Instead of ult-tapping, maybe accidentally pulling something in the dungeon, it's really griefing. So anyways, I'm going to explain everything, all of that, how this all breaks down. I get out of combat here, so let me just run around here. But yeah, this video is going to be a little bit longer than I would like, unfortunately. So I'll try to drop a kind of points on the bottom of my screen, little timestamps. You guys go to where you want to go. This is going to cover literally everything related to Demonology Warlock for Season 2. So without further ado, don't waste any more of your time. We're going to get right into it. And just go below the timestamp at the point that is most beneficial for you. And yeah, let's learn how to poon. Stat weights, like I mentioned in the first video, haven't changed much. Like I said, Mastery has more value than Verse. Still a lot of people saying Versatility is better than Mastery. All the guys in Icy Veins on workout vlogs are all saying Versatility is better. Brain damage, do not listen. Mastery is king by about 0.6% more. 0.6 more per point value. So it's almost 50 to 60% more value per point. But you do want some Verse, okay? Going completely Mastery and Haste, you know, your better stats, you will do less damage. You want some crit, you want a little bit of Verse, especially on those big dungeons where you're pulling like crazy. I'm talking your Cinderbrew, your Floodgates, things like that, where you have these monster pulls. Versatility has more points, more value now, because of your implosion damage, as well as actually your Hand of Gul'dan is a lot of damage in those dungeons. So having a little bit of versatility instead of being around 0 is good. I'd say maybe up to like 5 or 6%. After that, I think you're losing too much for how much stats we have right now in the game. Now with the upgrade we're having, I think it's tomorrow actually, we're upgrading our item levels to up to 684, whatever it is. We'll be able to change it a little bit, maybe by 1%, but around 5%. Don't go much more over that. After that, you're losing too much. Mastery, again, say let's say 45 to 52, 53 in there. I tried a heavy mastery build going like 58%. Crazy damage when you're doing your tyrant, but I gave up a lot of haste for it. I was down to like 16 or 17%. And it felt kind of bad. So I would say no less than 20% haste, ideally around 24%. Some people run heavy haste if you really want to. Makes the class easier to play. So if you're learning Demonology for the first time, stacking more haste might be good for you to be able to get your tyrants better and get all your demons out without having them expire. You just won't get the same damage profile when you do pop everything off. But nothing wrong with that. If it makes you get better tyrants, then overall you'll still probably be doing more damage. But truthfully, if you're playing it correctly, around 24% is good. You'll create as close as you can to 30%, so you can get to almost 45 or 50% with this talent on your dogs. So your bites start getting crazy because of flame touched. Really good. Stat priority, we discussed, nothing too crazy here. In terms of damage rotation here, so I talked about it last time, how to do a damage rotation, and I was basically accurate, but when I explained it to you, I didn't do what I explained when I rewatched my video, and I don't like to do multiple takes. I just kind of sent it to you. So if you see my other videos of me doing keys, you'll see me doing it correctly, but I figured I'd update the guide and show you exactly how to output the most damage. So we're going to summon our big boy here, slowly here. We're going to basically, I'm going to show you how it is when you first go into a dungeon. You got no imps, right? You power staff in your first 2. You got 2 stacks of demon bolts. You're going to double shadow bolt. Summon your grimoire. Summon your charhound. Here comes the free dogs. Here we go. Another 1 imps. 1 more demon bolt. Yes, have 1 points here. And here we go. Basically a 9. Almost a full amount. Now we implode. You implode right away in order to get expendable stacks. I'll talk about that more in a little bit. But here we go. Here comes the damage. And it just gets done. Look at my damage profile right now. Doing what, over 7 million damage here? Pretty crazy. While I'm explaining what to do on a 5-person pack. So what happens when you do this, you know, and you got a crazy Cinderbrew Pro, when you're pulling like 30 mobs on the first pull and you have lust and you're popping everything else. Now the damage gets crazy. And the reason it's also really strong right now, as from my first video, is because you tyrant right away. Basically that's enough. You're going to basically keep doing this, keep feeling the rotation. Once the imps start to expire, you implode. There we go. So, why did we implode? Okay, so when I first did the guide, I didn't explain it to you. A lot of people deal with tyrants and they hold their imps. Now in a single target environment, this is a play. You don't want to send implosions out to get the 10% damage buff, because imps are a high amount of your damage on a single profile, like on a boss, for example, on a big ad. However, for big, like a big pull, at the start of the dungeon or when you're in Mythic Plus, you're not on a boss, you want to implode as soon as you tyrant. The reason for this is because you summon a empowered dog, plus you have your tyrant, plus you have your normal dogs, and you have Charhound out. Now you have a talent called Expendables. Where is it here? So every time a demon expires, the demons who are still alive do 1% more damage, stacking 10 times. So ideally when you're a tyrant team, you're going to have, 8 to 12 imps maybe, something like that. Depending, with less, you might get a little bit more. There I had 9, I think, in the example I just showed you. You implode it all right away, but you want to wait like 1 second. So this, I've noticed if you implode a second you tyrant, sometimes the Expendables buff doesn't go on everyone. It's like they haven't summoned the dog yet, so that the Greater Hound doesn't get the buff. So I'd summon everything, do your spin to win, your demonic strength, and as that's spinning, then you implode on your second global cooldown. You boost your main pet, your hounds, your dogs, your super dog, and your grimoire and your tyrant all get a 10% damage buff. And they are doing way more damage than the imps you would have saved for an extra 6-7 seconds so they can shoot some fireballs. So please, implode right away. It's going to increase your damage profile's damage so much in Mythic Plus if you do this one simple tip. No one does it. Everyone I watch on YouTube aren't doing it. The only person I've seen is like the #1 warlock in the world. I think it's Razzle. I think he's like 2nd and 3rd rank. He's like 3600. He's incredible. He's this Russian guy. Anyways, he's the one person I saw him doing the same thing. I was like, oh look, this guy's a gamer. Finally, someone else is doing what I thought made sense to me. So after all my testing, it was nice to get confirmation from another insanely high tier warlock. And yeah, you implode. It's like a new tyrant, and you empower all of your other your main demons, and they just, all the bites do 10% more damage raw, plus the 30% increase from your tyrant. Bites are super strong. The Charhound is super. Everything's, it's just great. Okay, implode after tyrant. Don't listen to anybody else. You're welcome. Now, we'll go into maybe some weakauras. That was the main thing I wanted to check for a damage profile. Everything else in my last video I basically discussed with you guys, right? Like dropping gates to remove your roots, like in a floodgate if you get rooted. A few other places get roots, you can just port, it removes your root. As you gain the higher keys, now I'm starting to 15s and 16s, you really feel some of those root damage, especially in prior to Sacred Flame. That root, if you accidentally step in it, will kill you. So if you do step in it, you should have a gate already ready in case. But if you do step in it, gate and just port right where you are, it'll still remove the root. It will save your life. Gate tag, we already know there's a bunch of skips and things you can do in different keys. Like the Dark Flame Clef, you can drop this to candles during the last boss to skip, help your teammates skip. You can drop it even in a lot of areas. Anytime there's a type of running mechanic in any boss encounter, anything, just drop a gate. Just have it on the ground. Sometimes the move ought to do something, especially if it's like a caster. I'm thinking Motherload the last boss as well. Just drop a gate out. One person runs out to the gate, they drop their big bomb, they get rocketed to the head, they take the gate back. Save them time. Get more damage for your team. Great tech. Gates are very strong. Please use them in almost every situation. Don't use them just for skips. Use them in all bosses. There's almost always a use case scenario for them. In terms of damage profile, what else I want to mention? Yes, I think last time I talked about my healthstone macro that I messed up when I streamed it. So let's do that real quick. You basically want to soulbone before you use the demonic strength. I'll let me burn my health first. Get that a little bit weaker here. You soul burn, it makes your healthstone heal like 30 or 35% more. So instead of healing for 35% or 30% with the healthstone, you're healing just shy of 70% by using soulstone burn first. So you just make a macro /cast soul burn /collect demonic strength. It does require 1 soul shard. That's why in the video it didn't work originally. But look at this. Oh, I need to make a healthstone. Of course, another mistake. Here we go. Boom. See how much that healed? Did you hear that? I went from 30% health to full. You can do that every single minute. Every minute. It's on the GCD, because you do have to use soul burn. 7 million heal almost there. Incredible. Use this all the time. If you're using healthstone without soulburn, you're trolling yourself, you're trolling your party. You can basically, anytime there's a pulse damage, think the last boss of Dark Flame, you actually don't need a healer. You healthstone health pot, use that soulburn, it heals you to full, plus it gives you 20% more health pool. So now you get 12 or 13 million HP, and then you use your shield right after that, which gives you a shield based off your HP, if you're about 50% of your health. Now it's closer to 60% because your health pool is larger. So now the shield is almost 6 million. You just healed more than your total HP. Now you can't die. You actually don't need a healer for that phase. You can also shoot a death cult in that phase if you want. For an additional 20% heal, you're pushing like 17 million healing you can do on yourself in 2 globals. Yeah, pretty crazy. Maybe 3, I guess. No pulsing damage should kill you. That's control with a few seconds. You have like the candle guy and the 3rd boss of Dark Flame where you're always pulsing. That's a different story. Rot damage isn't as nice to Warlock, but anytime there's like, pulsing damage for 6 or 8 seconds from an ad, like bubbles or anything like that, you literally sustain yourself every minute. No problems. Pretty cool. Keep that tech in mind. Oh. I deleted it a bit. Oh no, I messed it up, guys. Hold on. There we go. That should be fine. I'll check that later. Anyways, now getting to some add-ons and weakauras and macros. The main thing I want to do, if you go to your options here, and just go to collecting Mouseover, right here, Mouseover cast. Click this. Say yes. You don't have to make it a modifier. None. Just right-click it. So now, it'll be work from certain spells. Like your dog will still be only going to your primary target. But for example, I can go like this, just mouse over and do Shadow Bolt, and it'll shoot at the other person. See? Boop. This also works for Demon Bolts, which is why you want to do this. Now I can Demon Bolt just by mousing over people, and I'm getting the proc, I'm spreading. You know the alt tab, each mob, when you're trying to focus one target anyways, that has more health than the target, like in the group is one person, like a muscle on the first position in the brew. You want to focus the muscles down, otherwise they're killing your group. You just select them, and then you just mouse over all the ads. And you just spread these Demon Bolts everywhere. And then boom, they explode for crazy damage. 350, 500k on crits onto everyone in the party. You do a lot of Doom Bolt damage by spreading your Doom Bolts efficiently. So please do this, just mouse over. This simple tip will probably increase your damage and keys by 10%. The Tyrant tip, I told you earlier also, another 10 to 12% damage. Well, even more so on your burst window, but overall, probably close to 10%. Just these 2 tips, you will do 20% more damage in your keys if you implement this and do this efficiently. Please do this. Now we have like our main thing here. I have Luxus, really cool setup here. This just shows the main thing you want to have. You don't have to use this specific setup if you don't like it. Use whatever you want. You want to have your Charhound displayed. There's also some that show like your Charhound like right in the middle of your screen. The seconds off cooldown is just like glowing in the middle of your screen. That's also a great one, because you need to use it off cooldown every single time, because it's a 30-second cooldown, and Tyrant is a minute. So if the second it comes up, even if your combat's about to finish, you just summon it to get any value you can out of it, just so it can be up right away when Tyrant's coming up. So otherwise, you push back your Tyrant, or you just don't cast Charhound at all, and you lose the damage output you would have had for having it out. Very sad. If this guy's off cooldown, you push him. He's priority over everything else. Now, I want to explain to you another thing about the openers a lot of people don't understand, is why is there different CD timers and durations of your different demons. So Grimoire, for example, has a 17-second duration. Charhound, 14 seconds, and your dogs, 12 seconds. So you might be thinking, Blizzard, what are they thinking? Just make everything 15 seconds as easy. No, because there's a reason for this. There's a reason because this is how you're supposed to summon them. Because Grimoire lasts the longest, you summon him first, 17 seconds. Then you can shoot a Shadow Bolt or a Demon Bolt, and then summon your Charhound. Now when this guy comes out, boom, they're both at 14 seconds. Perfectly lined up. Then you start casting your dogs. If you don't have a proc, you have to cast it. 2-second cast, boom. Now we're at 12 seconds for all of our main demons, and all our 3 big boys are out. It plays out perfectly. It's actually by design, and that's the reason why you do your Grimoire first, followed by your Charhound, followed by your dogs. It lines up perfectly. Now you have 12 seconds, or let's say closer to 10, because you have to summon your Tyrant to get as many imps out as you can, right? Depending on haste, whatever you have. Hopefully you get about 3, maybe 4 handed cooldowns out. You get 9 to 12 imps, plus the ones you're spawning, 1 or 2 free. Then you're blasting, right? The dream is to get the 15 imps before tyrant. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Don't stress too much about it. But yeah, and also for your imps, maybe people don't understand this. Maybe I didn't explain it properly last time as well. When your imps spawn, there's a timer of how long they last when they're not in combat. But the number below here is how long they last if they're in combat, how many attacks they do before they expire. So every single imp that you get, if you're out of combat, lasts like over 30 seconds. In combat, it's 20, but their casts, I think, was it 7, I believe? I'll watch it go up again. 7 or 8. I think it's 8. Let's wait one more second here. Oh, it's 6 actually. For some reason I thought it was 7. Anyways, they get 6 attacks. And once that happens, they're gone. So that's why having an imp tracker, like I recommended in the first video, is so important. Because there's no way you can know this if you're not tracking their attacks. Unless you're looking at their individual attacks and like, I think they're about to be done now. Okay, now, yeah, that's impossible. You're never going to do that in a game. You have too many stuff going on, too many encounters and stuff you're looking at. Get an imp tracker. Very simple weak aura. Another good weak aura that I recommend here. Why can't I? Oh, I need to get a combat to open weak auras. That's funny. 1 second here, guys. Yeah, so that's the main one. Lexus, whatever. The main thing you need to see is Charhound up. So you know when to use it, when to remove it. Why can I still do my weak auras? I'm no longer in combat. There we go. There's a couple different things. One I want to talk about is called this jackpot one. Really cool. So when you're attacking, when you're playing Demonology, when you summon your tyrant, you get the super dog. But there's a chance when you're just doing your damage that you can summon a free one. This is really cool because this actually procs it. The second you have it, makes a little cha-ching noise. It shows it's spawning plus the timer of 12 seconds. And it's really satisfying because now you know you have extra damage. Prioritize as many bites as you can. And this, surprisingly enough, gets extended with Tyrant. So if you see that you have this procced and everything is about to be up, but you're like, oh, I'm going to wait a couple of seconds. No, you can instantly start summoning everything, and then you can get a Tyrant with 2 super dogs out. And the first one is empowered by your Tyrant. Sometimes you get 3, you hear cha-ching, cha-ching, and then you're laughing. That's when I start screaming in some videos. I'm like, oh my god, I got 3 procs, and I just know the damage is going to get crazy. Now my bites are like 2 to 3 times stronger than they normally are. And it's just insane damage. Really satisfying as well. So just tracking this. Sometimes it doesn't change too much how you play. If you see it responding, you can try push out your demons a little quicker if you have everything up. But regardless, it's just kind of cool to know, like, oh, I have some damage proc. Let's try to do more hand cooldowns, get a little more bites out. Pretty neat. Lexus, as I mentioned, was the main one I was talking about earlier. This is my character sheet. Some people are talking about chunky character sheet. It's just this thing here. It's nice because, like, you have your characters. I have my rewards. I can see what my rewards are without having to go over there. My different specializations, my talents. Everything's here. It's a really clean outlook. If you like this, feel free to get it. Nothing important, but it's just kind of cool. Other than that, those are the main weak auras I was recommending. Omni CD. It's nice to have track your teammates' parties, more so when I'm healing. Also when I'm DPSing, it's nice because sometimes you have a DPS in the group try to flame the healer, and then you like look over and they have 2 to 3 defenses, and you can be like, no, it wasn't the healer's fault, it was your fault. And you can call people out a little bit. Or also just for yourself too, if you die and you're like, what happened? You can look over and be like, oh, I had stuff I could have pushed as well. Ideally better for improving your gameplay, but yeah, that's the main other thing I wanted to say. Any other ones here? That's about it, I think, for you guys. Yeah, anyways, I hope you found this video helpful. I didn't want to break too much of this breakdown of all the talent trees. It's pretty standard. This is basically the entire thing you always run. Sometimes you remove banish. You only like banish for motherload. You can banish the ad. Please do this. If anyone says they don't want banish in motherload, you should remove them from your friends. They know what they're talking about. You banish the second boss's ad, and they just don't move. No one has to run around. It makes life super easy. And when you don't need this, you remove this, and you just make your sprint a little bit faster and burn you a little bit less. These are your 2 flex points. Everything else here is pretty standard. And here, you remove this talent in here for Imperator. Strictly only for Theater of Pain. Other than that, you don't change anything. But yeah, that's the whole talent tree of everything else. Oh yeah, I want to talk about dogs. In my first video, I didn't discuss this, but when dogs expire, right, the last 12 seconds, you actually gain 2 Demon Bolt procs. So having this also tracked is why I like Luxus a lot, but whatever weakauras you want to use. Knowing that it's about to expire, you want some of your time before it expires, but if it's a normal damage rotation, I can show an example of it I guess right now so you see it. But right before it goes, you're going to get your free bolt procs. So it's just good to know as you're watching it. This will be at 8 seconds it shows here, which will be the 12 seconds that it's done. When Dawns is finished, right now, I'm going to get 2 bolts right now. Boom. So if you already have 2 or 3 of these, and your guy's about to expire, start shooting out your bolts. Don't let this, don't let this overcap. It's really sad when that happens. It's a waste of damage. So keeping the timer of this when it's expiring, keeping the timer of making sure you're doing this every single 30 seconds, doing the 3 base of Grimoire to Charhound to Dogs, because it's 17 seconds to 14 seconds to 12, the way it's perfectly designed by that, so you get the most amount of imps in your window. And then also having a Mouseover, whether you have a Mouseover Macro or like I showed you in the options, to just simply do this, and makes your life so much easier. You guys are going to do so much more damage, and please, when you Tyrant, instantly implode within the second global GCD, and you'll see how much more damage you do. Now when you do your first pull in a dungeon, you always feel bad. Oh, I take so much ramp time, my damage always sucks in the first pull in comparison to other classes. Now you're going to keep up. I've done a Cinder Brew where I'm doing 22 million damage, the same as a DK in my group, same as a Hunter in my group. If I get PI, I can push to 24, 25 million. Again, if the rotation goes well, if I play it correctly, I'm not griefing myself. Very, very cool. So please try these 2 tips. Become an absolute monster. Hope you guys enjoyed the content. If you guys want to see more videos, I'll be streaming my other content and posting it also on here so you guys can see some of the videos and some of the keys that I do. Other than that, guys, thanks for your time. Lock O'Clock is out.